Welcome to Our Weird World, where each week we gather around the bonfire to uncover the world's most fascinating legends and mysteries. Tonight we bring you the chilling tale of the Gates of Guinea, a hidden passage to the afterlife whispered about in the haunted streets of New Orleans. So sit back, relax, and let the flickering flames of our virtual campfire illuminate the shadows of the unknown. New Orleans is a city of spirits. The air itself is thick with the weight of the past, with ghosts that refuse to rest and stories that refuse to die. In the forgotten corners of the French Quarter, where the gas lamps flicker and the Mississippi hums its eternal lullaby, there exists a whispered legend, one that speaks to the passage of the afterlife, a hidden gateway into the land of the dead. This is the legend of the Gates of Guinea. There are many cemeteries in New Orleans, their tombs standing above the earth like silent sentinels guarding secrets best left undisturbed. The old gravediggers and practitioners of voodoo will tell you that these graveyards are more than resting places for the dead. Some say they are thresholds to the beyond. In voodoo tradition, Guinea is the land of the ancestors, the resting place of souls who have passed on. It is said that before a spirit can fully cross over, it must cross through the 7 gates, each guarded by spirits, and each requiring a precise ritual to be opened. Those who attempt the passage unprepared may find themselves trapped between the worlds, forever lost. The legend is not merely a tale to frighten the curious, it is a warning. To open the gates, one must know the exact locations and the precise rituals. These gates, scattered throughout the city, are said to appear only to those who seek them with true intent. They are rumored to be hidden in the cemeteries, such as St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, Lafayette Cemetery, and St. Roch Cemetery, where the spirits whisper between the mausoleums. One does not simply walk through. To pass the first gate, an offering must be made to Baron Samedi, the Loa of the dead, the trickster guardian who wears a top hat and smokes cigars while standing between the worlds. His price is steep: rum, black coffee, coins, or even blood. And should he find the offering unworthy, he may decide to keep the trespasser among his own. Each gate demands its own sacrifice, its own chant, its own moment of darkness. There's an old story about a man named Louis Duvernay, a young scholar from New Orleans, who, in his obsession with the legend, sought to open the gates. He spent years researching the rituals, tracking down obscure references in musty tomes, and even consulting aging mambos and the hogans who whispered their warnings in hushed tones. One fateful night during Samhain, when the veil between the worlds was thin, Louis began the ritual. He started at St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, where he left his offering at the tomb of Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen herself. The air grew thick with a cloying sweetness, and the winds whispered his name. As he proceeded through the gates, moving from one graveyard to another, following paths known only to those who listen, he began to see things. Shadows moved where there should be none. Voices called to him in languages long forgotten. By the time he reached the 6th gate, he was no longer alone. They say he screamed once, just once, before vanishing into the night. His body was never recovered. But some claim on certain nights, in the alleys of the French Quarter, you can hear his voice, soft, pleading, forever searching for the final gate. The story of Louis Duvernay is not unique. Many have sought the gates, some for power, some for knowledge, and some out of sheer foolish curiosity. Few return unchanged. The old voodoo practitioners will tell you that once a gate is open, it must be closed. If left ajar, spirits may slip through, unseen at first, but present. They whisper in the wind, flicker in the candlelight, and tug at the edges of dreams. There are stories of those who, after seeking the gates, found their homes haunted. The smell of rum and tobacco would fill their rooms at night. Their mirrors would show faces that were not their own, and in the deep hours of the morning they would hear laughter, low, guttural, and knowing. The laughter of Baron Samedi, amused at their folly. While most stories end with cautionary whispers, there is one tale that suggests Louis Duvernay was closer to completing his journey than anyone realized. A century-old journal found hidden in the walls of an abandoned voodoo shop contained the writings of one desperate man, a man who claimed to have reached the 7th gate. The final passage described a realm beyond sight, where shadows moved independently of their owners and time lost its grip. The last words written were smeared, as if the writer had been abruptly interrupted, but one chilling phrase could still be read. The last gate is not a door, but a choice. What happened to Louis Duvenet remains a mystery, but some say the legend has not yet ended, that a new seeker will emerge, guided by whispers in the wind and the flickering glow of candlelight. Perhaps, one night, the seventh gate will open once more. Even today, some believe that the Gates of Guinea remain hidden from the city's cemeteries, waiting for the next seeker to come knocking. The brave or the foolish will still attempt the journey, armed with offerings and incantations. But the truth remains. Few know the exact rituals, and fewer still have the favor of the Loa. So the warning stands. If you hear the whispers in the graveyards, if you feel the pull of unseen hands leading you toward the tombs, turn away. For once the gates open, they do not always close, and some roads once walked can never be walked back. The flames of our virtual bonfire grow dim, and the whispers of the night settle into silence. Perhaps the tale of the Gates of Guinea will stay with you, lingering at the edges of your thoughts, much like the spirits said to wander New Orleans cemeteries. If you find yourself drawn to shadowed paths and forgotten rituals, tread carefully. Some doors, once opened, are impossible to shut. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, like, share, and subscribe to Our Weird World to keep the fire burning. And as always, be wary of the dark, for you never know what may be lurking in it.